Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to episode 19 of my 6-player free-for-all Age of Wonders 3 playthrough series. In this series, I'm playing against 5 Emperor AI that are each on their own separate team, and I'm playing as the Orc Warlord, Crognash the Brutal. In our last episode, we successfully eliminated the second of our 5 opponents, that being Galendil Evorlas, who was a High Elf Archdruid. And you can see here that we've occupied his throne city. We're actually in the process of migrating it over to Shadow Elves. So that's basically 2 down, 3 to go. And we actually haven't encountered any of the other 3 opponents yet. So I don't know exactly where they are, although I would suspect that they're probably out to the west here, somewhere in the unexplored area of the map. But again, that does remain to be seen. So we've got our work cut out for us as we're already on turn 47, which means we've really got to kind of put the pedal to the metal here and try to start locating and hopefully eliminating the remaining opponents before they're able to really start building up some nasty doom stacks. However, before we dive into this episode, I did just want to give a couple of quick shoutouts to a few individuals who left some excellent comments on the last episode. The first of those comments comes from Gladden. Gladden is actually one of the individuals who is kind of one of the main people behind the Shadow Realm expansion mod. So he's actually one of the individuals doing a lot of the main work for it. And Gladden commented on the last episode, I would really recommend that everybody take a peek at his comment. I actually pinned it on the last episode. So go ahead back to episode 18 and check out his comment, because what he actually kind of goes through are a number of the challenges and issues with Age of Wonders 3 that could kind of complicate, making mods for it, but also some of the technical specifications that actually may have resulted in some of the issues that I had, the technical difficulties I had a couple of episodes back there. So that was really, really informative, just to kind of read through them. So I'd recommend everybody take a peek at them. Again, there were actually a number of things I didn't even know about kind of some of the technical details of Age of Wonders 3. Gladden also commented that there's actually, they're working currently on an update to the Shadow Realm expansion mod pack, and that will hopefully be released by Christmas. So I'm actually quite excited for that, and I'm really looking forward to it. And just something to note as well, it's actually quite spectacular, the relative stability of the Shadow Realm expansion mods, because when you think about it, they add a tremendous amount of content, and yet I've had exceptional stability with them. So a big thank you to Gladden and to everybody that's working on the Shadow Realm expansion mod pack, as well as just modding for the Age of Wonders 3 in general. It's a fantastic community, and it's amazing that it's still active after all this time. So big thank you to Gladden, and again, go and check out his comment on the previous episode if you're interested. The next comment comes from Casper Eklund, and Casper pointed out a couple of things. So first of all, he mentioned that when it comes to research here, I could, there's actually a research tree here that allows me to basically make it such that my units are less affected by the Shadow Realm debuffs. So for example, this is a strategic spell here. All units in target-friendly army get lesser shadow walking for 3 turns. However, I believe there's actually a more advanced version of this that can actually make it such that my units have a permanent benefit to the, a permanent upgrade that allows them to not be as inhibited by the Shadow Realm. However, in the interim, or if I don't ever get to that, there actually is another option that could benefit my units, and especially this is all kind of in the context of what's going to be here a goblin city in the Shadow Realm, which obviously isn't going to be optimal, as goblins aren't exactly super happy in the Shadow Realm. However, one thing that I could do is try to grow this city and get the Heart of Shadows in my domain. What this does is it adds the ability Shadow Walker and Shadow Demon Slayer to produced units and grant Shadow Walker when located within your domain, meaning that all of the goblin units here that are in this city or produced here won't be unhappy in the Shadow Realm, and any other units that come into the Shadow Realm in my other stacks would actually not be as inhibited by, would not be penalized by the debuff in the Shadow Realm. So again, I'm really glad that Casper kind of got me thinking about that, because again, it was something I wasn't really considering. And then Casper rightly points out a couple of things as well. I really blundered some of the battles in the last episode. In particular, there was a battle for this dungeon, and I went in, I think, with a stack of, if I remember correctly, I had 4 phalanx, 1 priest, and then I also had a spearman who was produced in this city here. And I really kind of got decimated. I think the only unit that survived was the priest and the spearman, if I'm not mistaken. And Casper pointed out that I made a number of mistakes in that battle. Really was not my my finest moment. But again, I'd recommend for those of you who maybe kind of skipped over it or didn't really get a chance to really see it in its entirety, check out the last episode. Even go rewatch it if you're so inclined, because I think there's a lot of learning opportunities there. So a few things just to mention. I probably could have waited for backup. So rather than initiating this battle with what was effectively a fairly useless unit in this spearman, I could have waited to either produce another pikeman or another tier 3 or 4 unit, or at the very least produce another priest or something like that to give me some actual oomph in that final 6th unit, rather than kind of just rushing in and trying to do it with this unit. Another thing that I did, I didn't really take into account the extreme mobility of the Manticore Riders, such that they could actually come in and flank me very easily if I used my pikemen, my phalanx, to actually attack, rather than keeping them as kind of defensive as possible. So I really didn't kind of optimize my unit's safety in the way that I should and could have. And then finally, I didn't use enough of my spells. I really could have reinforced my units, or at least thrown like Phoenix Warrior on or something like that. There were a lot of things I could have done that I didn't do. Although I don't know if I actually have Phoenix Warrior. Okay, I don't have Phoenix Warrior researched with Crognash, but I could have used things like Last Stand or Lion's Courage to really make that battle have gone a lot more smoothly for me. And I didn't do that, and as a result, I lost all of my phalanx and really got decimated, although I did manage to clear out the dungeon. So again, it's important in this game to really try and stay humble, because the minute you get overconfident, that's the minute you get smacked down. So a big thank you to Casper just kind of for pointing this out. Again, it's a great learning opportunity for myself and hopefully for all of you watching. And then, of course, the other big blunder was I lost a Shadow Demon in this siege due to my carelessness, and that was just a result of me not paying attention to how much health the unit had left. But again, I kind of pointed that out in the last episode, so not really worth going over again. But in any case, big thank you to Gladden and to Casper Eklund for the excellent comments. So we're going to dive in here, as we've got 3 more opponents to try to find. So let's kind of get on the road here to doing that. Now, we still have a number of things left to do here with our turn before we flip it over. And you can see here that we've kind of used up most of our movement. So at least with the units up here. So I think we're going to, let's see here, I'm just going to kind of take stock of what's all happened. So we did have a phalanx unit produced here, and we'll have to figure out where we want to send this one. So Urkan is actually going to clear this structure out over here, the Brigand Hideout. However, it might be worth actually building up a stack and trying to maybe clear this structure out. This would actually benefit from a number of phalanx units who could deal with these Griffin Riders. So maybe I will send this guy over here to kind of join up with the rest of this stack. Again, we've got some undead units here. We've got a Goblin Mounted Archer, and then we've got our Goblin Phalanx as well as this Phalanx here. So we're kind of just building up a stack in Srock. And I think we could use that stack, like I said, to maybe clear out this Flowrock Quarry. And then alternatively, we could actually head straight into the Shadow Realm if we were so inclined, and do some exploring over here, as really we don't really know what's going on in this particular region of the Shadow Realm. We've just taken a peek, so might be kind of fun to send a stack in there to do that. Okay, let's see what else we got. So Srock, we produced the Mounted Archer, and I think that's going to kind of about do it for that. Now let's just see if there was anybody left to move. I think Heninia, perhaps? Yes. So Heninia still has some movement. She can take care of a few more things here. So let's try and do this battle here for this Scrolls of Knowledge, and maybe we can get some additional knowledge income, which would be fantastic. Okay, and we'll move this little guy over, even though we really don't need him for this battle, but we'll get him involved. There we go. Perhaps we can try and convert one of the units in this enemy group here. We can either maybe go for the Phantasm Warrior, or we could try for an Apprentice. However, I think I'm going to try to eliminate this Apprentice unit at least. Okay, you know what? We're going to step up like this and blast the Wisp, and then just try and get the kill here with our Mounted Archer. There we go. Now we don't have to deal with the Wisp at the very least, which is great. There's a Dwarf Apprentice up here who could use a little bit of a beating, so let's do that. There we go. And then I think maybe the Phantasm Warrior. Although, you know, the Halfling Apprentice might be kind of nice to have. You know, we could step up like this. Let's see how much range do we have on this? 1, 2, 3. So if we were to step Haninia here, we'd have 1, 2. I think that would be in range. Let's just see. Yeah, so we have a 50% chance. Let's give it a try. Okay, they resisted. Again, worth a shot. We'll go in and do some damage there. We'll step up with our Phalanx just to kind of reinforce our flyer here. Okay. There we go. So far, so good. And so why don't we just finish off the Apprentice? There we go. And then we can actually step up here and drop a nice big heal on our flyer. Always nice. And then turn this unit around a little bit. And let's even move over like this and do a little bit more to turn them. And then we can get a nice big flank attack here like this. Fantastic. And then let's go for the finish on this Phantasm Warrior. All good. And then we've got one more unit to kill off right there. Excellent. Essentially a painless battle there. We really didn't take too much damage. And we did get 94 extra knowledge, which is fantastic, as now we've got a surplus of 286 knowledge, which we're going to try to take advantage of here. And you know what? We could actually head over and try and clear out that Sphinx Temple as well, which would be kind of nice. But before we do that, let's group back up, and we'll use the Mounted Archer to engage these Wisps in combat here. And again, we don't want to take any unnecessary damage if we can avoid it. But I suspect we will take some damage in this battle. I think it's going to be kind of unavoidable. Well, let's blast this Wisp here. And again, they're going to phase in and give us the business, that's for sure. We'll kind of stagger our units here a little bit. I suspect they're going to go for our Priest and our Hero. Maybe we'll put the Flyer back one. And we'll let them come to us. Yeah, so there they're going after Haninia. Not really unexpected. Thankfully, Haninia actually didn't get stunned. So what we'll do is we'll just drop a big heal on Haninia there. And then we can... So first things first, we'll step in and just get the kill on this Wisp. Throw on our War Cry and try for the kill here. Excellent. And we'll do the same on this side over here. Fantastic. Now we've just got the one left, which we can blast with our Priest. So really didn't take too much damage there, nothing too crazy. Alright, so now the question is, do we want to keep this stack as it is, or do we want to add in this Phalanx and maybe replace the Flyer? Can he make it over there as well? Let's just double check. Yes, he can. Okay. So maybe we replace the Flyer with this Phalanx, because I think the Phalanx is going to be a bit more useful, especially since we're going to be likely up against some Tigran Sphinx in there. So let's actually send the Flyer, or let's just move this one over. Same with our Mounted Archer, and then we'll just leave the Flyer behind. There we go. Alright, now let's try out this Sphinx Temple. Okay, well, we're up against Watchers and a Sphinx, so... I suppose I could have scouted it beforehand with the Mounted Archer or something, but in any case, I'm happy to have the Phalanx. I think he's going to be a little bit potentially a little bit more useful. Alright, with Haninia, I'm going to move over like this and throw Touch by Faith on this unit. And then send him over, I think, like this. Now, the question is, do I want to attack or do I want to go into defense mode here? That's the real question. Now, what I'd like to do with the Priest is attempt to mitigate the Sphinx's movement, if at all possible. Oh, I was actually hoping to just mitigate movement rather than actually get the curse, but that is okay. So we'll step this Phalanx up and throw him in defense mode. I think we'll keep this one in defense as well. And maybe we'll even kind of retreat a little bit with our Mounted Archer. This Phalanx perhaps can step up like this. And then our Mounted Archer can just hang out where he is. Alright, well, let's kind of see what happens here. Ooh, yeah, I kind of lined up there, unfortunately. That was a little silly of me. Thankfully not catastrophic, but never fun to take unnecessary damage when you don't need to. Yeah, so let's blast the Sphinx with some big damage here. And then, you know what, we're just going to step up and get the kill. Fantastic. Our Mounted Archers, again, we can step up and actually do quite a lot of damage here. We can actually turn the Sun Guard around, which kind of would be helpful. I was going to step up here with Sprint and just see... Yeah, there we go. We get the kill. Oh, not quite. Almost. Very close to getting the kill. And then let's just get the finish here with our hero. And then this Phalanx, I think we will keep in defense mode. And as well, we'll step up here. Now, this Phalanx at gold medal should have Tireless. So we'll throw that unit in defense mode. Essentially Tireless, if we want to just double check that. Tireless means that no action points are spent on retaliation or attacks of opportunity. So they can kind of fight us and we'll just keep having attacks for free to fight back. So let's see kind of what happens here. Okay, so they're just going to use the Doom Gaze. Ooh, and those Phalanx really took a beating, so we got to make sure we bail them out if possible here. Let's do some big damage. Fantastic. Can use our Mounted Archer to get the kill over here, I think. Excellent. They're in pretty rough shape, so we're going to have to really try to rescue them here if at all possible. Ooh, fantastic. That was a big deal that we got that kill there. Okay, fantastic. And now we'll actually be able to just move in and get a nice big heal, which should be enough to keep them alive. Bestow Iron Heart as well. Increase their defense a little bit, although it won't heal them as much. But let's do that. There we go. Now, hopefully, if they get attacked here, they should still be able to survive. Okay, going after Haninia, that's just fine. And you know what? Let's even try for a convert. Oh, and we got it. Fantastic. So we got ourselves another unit, and we cleared out the structure with relatively minimal damage. And of course, Haninia has a number of healing abilities, so we'll be able to heal up that damage without too much issue. We did get here a Staff of Divine Vengeance. Divine Vengeance lays waste to an entire area by divine power. Every unit in a 4-hex radius around this unit takes damage from Divine Vengeance. Devout and blinded units are immune. And then we're also getting almost 500 knowledge income. I'm going to take that, mostly for the knowledge, but might as well hang on to this as well. So it's a usable item, meaning we can just keep it in our inventory. And that's pretty exciting, actually. Okay. So this little guy here, we have a Goblin Butcher. We're going to leave him to guard the city, as we really don't know what's going on kind of in this area in terms of roaming units and the like. It's kind of interesting how there's this water around, and then right around it, there's all this lava. That's kind of funny. Now, the question with Haninia is, where do we want to go? We could come back here and clear out this ancient ruin, which I think might actually be what I want to do here. So let's come back. With our flyer, we'll just kind of do a little bit of scouting around the city here. we won't go too far, as I don't want this unit kind of being left to its own and getting picked off by some roaming units. Alright, we did have here a level up with Heninia. Let's kind of think about here. So we've got 15 casting points. Might be nice to just give her some extra casting points. Again, we want to remember that at level 11, we're going to have access to Divine Justicars. So let's do extra casting points, and that should be good for that level up. Okay. That takes care of Heninia. I believe we've already moved. Yes, Trugruk has already moved, so we're okay there. And again, we've got some undead to clear out in the Haunted Boneyard. Let's jump back. In the Shadow Realm, we don't really have much going on, aside from our city being perpetually sieged by Shadow Demons. And then I think that pretty much takes care of most of our units. Let's just kind of double-check that. Yeah, these Phalanx were waiting to kind of, again, recreate a stack here. So I think we'll pick our research now that we've got all this extra knowledge income here. So let's take a look. We've got the draft. The caster's units gain 200 morale and cannot desert. Well, that would be really nice. Just that extra morale boost. You get more criticals. I would like to get some extra casting points. That would be fantastic. Authority of the Sword forces neighboring lands to submit to the Empire's rule through demonstration of military power. Target-friendly city gains a +1 domain radius. That's actually pretty cool because there are cities where one extra little boost to their the city size brings other structures into the domain, so that would be nice to have. We could also do advanced seafaring and then work on getting advanced logistics. Terraformer is going to be nice, so we've got really good choices here. Okay, and we've got 779, so unfortunately we couldn't do Resurrect Hero and the draft. So maybe let's do... Trying to kind of think what would be the most useful here. Death March, again, that just improves... all units in target-friendly army gain additional movement equal to their maximum movement points until end of turn. All affected units lose 50% of their current health. I believe Casper pointed out that this could be used on my builder, which would be kind of useful because the builder's obviously not going to be fighting. So if it loses health, it's not a big deal. But I do kind of want to save my casting points primarily for Embrace Darkness and then Summon Bone Dragon. Alright, well, let's start with extra casting points. And you know what? We could just even go for more casting points here if we were so inclined. However, it might be nice to actually get some of these going. I am really tempted to get the draft. I mean, again, the can't desert, I'm less excited about, but the plus 200 morale would be nice just to get more criticals. And the Terraformer would be actually really useful. But again, I don't really want to spend the casting points on it necessarily. Let's do Authority of the Sword just because it's such a cheap one. We still got 619 left. So if we do the draft, that would leave us with a little over 200. Unfortunately, not 220. If we were at 220, we'd be at 219 if we do the draft, which would be one short of being able to do advanced seafaring. Bit of a shame. What is Degenerate? Infects the target with a magical disease that weakens the creature at a fundamental level. The unit gains 60% weakness to all damage types for 3 turns. That would be really, really nice if you had, like, some tier 4 unit that was just an absolute monster that you needed to fight. Like an absolute just juggernaut that you needed to kill off. That would be really, really useful. I want to do the draft, though. But I don't actually know if that would be all that useful for me, really. I suppose we could do the draft and warfare or something like that. That might not be the worst plan. Just looking at the rest here. I know it probably seems like, why am I spending so much time on this? But I'm really trying to kind of think this one through. And again, you know, you could do this a number of different ways depending on what your goals are. I think I'll do the draft. And then we still got 219 left, so let's try and do the most expensive thing we can kind of do. Maybe we'll do some more warfare, a little bit more casting points. And we've still got 59 left, which we could actually then get Degenerate done in a single turn. rather than it. I guess it's going to take 2 turns kind of no matter what, though, because we don't have enough income coming in there to get it done in a single turn. Yeah, so let's maybe do... You know what? We could still do degenerate. Yeah, let's do it. Because that's going to then make it only take a single turn. Otherwise, it would take 2. Because what we had there, we had 59 plus 321 gives us 380 on the button. So that actually works out pretty nicely. Okay. Sorry, I know that was kind of me hemming and hawing over the decisions, but I did want to kind of take my time and make sure that I at least tried to think it through as best I can. Now in Sirach here, we could build one more unit. I'm almost thinking another mounted archer, perhaps. We've got melee, 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 ranged, ranged. Might be nice to have one more ranged. So maybe we do another mounted archer there. And that'll kind of round out that stack a little bit. Now over to Parab. This is the city where we've just kind of perennially been producing Goblin Phalanx units. And I think we're going to just keep that rolling. And again, the reason I'm doing that is because they get greater lifesteal thanks to Embrace Darkness and the inherent lifesteal present in the Goblin Phalanx and Butcher units. On Boku, on the other hand, we're just going to do merchandise. Bleg, which is our new city that we've acquired from Galendil. I think we'll do... You know, it'd be nice to get this in our domain, a little bit extra knowledge income. We're going to grow in 12 turns, but if we do the observatory, we're going to grow a little bit faster, so let's do that. Or our domain will increase, I guess I should say. Up to Beltheme here. This is our new Shadow Elf city. We could actually do a Tenebrious Citadel in 3 turns, which would be pretty cool, as that would give us the Shadow Elf Umbral Weaver Charioteer unit. But I think, and again, if we can get this Lost Library in there, that would actually be great for our support units. But I think what we'll do is we'll just do merchandise for now, as we really don't have a ton of income at the moment, or of gold available, I should say, not income. Alright, let's end our turn there. So now the question is, where are these other 3 opponents? So we're going to have to send our armies, again, to the west. And I sort of missed the opportunity to clear out some of these structures, unfortunately, in my area here. I could have grabbed some production resources and cleared out the dungeon. I may just have to create some stacks to actually take care of that for me. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw Embrace Darkness on my front, the city that's closest to kind of the front lines here. And that's going to allow me then to summon Bone Dragons that have Lifesteal. Unfortunately, when I summoned my other Bone Dragon, it was, I think it was in this city. And that was the closest I could get. And here we have our Bone Dragon moving in to try to join up with Dominus' stack up here. So, I think maybe what we'll do is we'll send Crognash. Well, we'll deal with this, and then I'll continue to kind of talk about what I was planning to do. I'm going to send Crognash to the north, along kind of the upper edge there of my domain, clear out some of those structures, and then I'll send Dominus kind of along the south there, and kind of let him continue to explore, really push west kind of a little bit more aggressively. And what I'm hoping happens is that very rapidly I'll encounter the domain of one of my other opponents. And then I can kind of start to rally my forces to that area so we can start sieging and hopefully taking out kind of one by one, letting the dominoes sort of fall. Again, I really want to continue my momentum. I really built up a lot kind of rallying to fight Galendil there with my multiple stacks led by the 2 heroes, or led by my leader and my hero, I should say. So I want to keep the good times going. I don't want to lose that momentum, especially since, again, the longer I wait, the harder those 3 enemies are going to be to deal with, as they're going to start building up tier 4 units. Okay, a lot of things happened here. Holy. So we had a number of items arrive, so let's double check those. So these are, I think most of these are ones that arrived for Heninia here. Yeah, so let's now take a look. So again, I didn't really plan out the items that I was sending as well as I could have. We're going to just sell off this shield here, the Mind Control shield. We don't really need it. This shield is not nearly as good as Quamet's Absorber of Potential Grief, which gives us physical protection and blight protection. Meanwhile, this shield just gives us a shield bonus and +1 defense, which is still good, but I think this shield is substantially better, especially because it's giving us full blight protection, which is making us immune to that, and that physical protection is quite nice as well. So now let's just double check if any heroes actually still need a shield of any kind. We're going to leave Dominus with this one because the frost protection provided actually gives him 100% frost protection, which is quite nice. So we'll keep that as it is. Urkan needs a shield, but he does have one on its way, and that's about the same. This rusty disc of defense is about as good as that tribal shield, so no real worries there. Yeah, Trugruk has the static shield here, so I think we'll just sell this one off. Although, I should have maybe checked. How good is this? Oh, this is actually better. The Buckler of the King's Guard is actually a superior shield to that other one, so we made the right call there. All right, very nice. Now we've gotten better at governing Shadow Elves, which is quite nice. Let's take a look. So we've got a military or economic upgrade. Your Shadow Elf irregulars gain Shadow Realm concealment and +2 movement, or your Shadow Elf cities and units no longer dislike blighted or subterranean terrain. I think I'll take this one because, again, we're not really using Shadow Elf irregulars at this point. So we'll take that. Make them a little bit more versatile. We are now pure evil, and we actually are the prime evil. And as a result, we gained a stack of evil units here. You can see we've got 2 Nightmares and a Hellhound, which is going to, again, just give us more units to kind of throw at this big bunch here that we're using as our main Vanguard force. We're going to throw Embrace Darkness on this city here, as that's kind of our city that's closest to the front lines at the moment. Now, we can start summoning a Bone Dragon. Although, it might be nice to actually maybe do a couple of these other spells just while we're... we can here. So maybe we do Authority of the Sword or the Draft. Again, I wouldn't mind getting the Draft out of the way. So maybe we do the Draft, and then we do Authority of the Sword, and we throw that on a city or two. So let's do the Draft. Get that done. That's just a global buff to our units. Again, a lot of them are quite happy already, but just nice to have that extra happiness boost there. We want to kind of make our units just as overwhelmingly overpowered as possible. Now, in Ancinia Res, which is our Archon Revenant Dwelling, we did finish that upgrade there. So now we can do either a Mausoleum or a Throne of Bone, which is going to give us access to either the Wraith King or the Revenant Titan. Could also do a Haunted Vault, which would just give us Wraiths, but if we're going to do that anyway, we might as well do the Throne of Bone. And the Graveyard, again, is just giving us the Infantry and Pikemen, which we don't really need. Carnal House is giving us the Archer, which, again, we've kind of outgrown at this point. So I'm inclined to go with the Throne of Bone, and the reason for that, there's a few reasons, but one is that Wraith Kings are able to, they're floating, so they're able to just kind of move across the land much more easily. And since this city is not really on my front lines kind of at the moment, I'm going to probably have to have these units really trucking to get out to the front lines. And as a result, I'd rather have floating units that are able to get out there a little more easily. So I think I'm going to do the Throne of Bone and start working on that. So that's fantastic. We're going to have some very powerful units available to us in the relatively near future here, which is going to be excellent. And we're just going to kind of do a little bit of scouting here with our hodgepodge units. And think we'll just wait. We'll let this unit kind of move in and help us in this battle with these elven units here. No sense taking a big risk if we don't have to. Our Bone Dragon, on the other hand, we are going to try and get up into the fight as soon as possible. We did finish Degenerate. That's now done. Again, we're pure evil. We founded our little goblin city, and they're actually not all that unhappy. So they actually like some of these, some of the terrain in here. Let's see. I'm not sure which one they actually like, but they like wetlands. They dislike tropical, Arctic, and tundra, and they hate volcanic. So I'm not sure. Is it? Maybe it's this here. Wetlands. Okay, so that's actually really nice now that I think about it. There is a wetlands tile in there, so that's kind of cool. Are some of these wetlands as well? Barrens, wetlands. So yeah, there are some wetlands around here. That's actually great, as that means this city, when it grows, is actually going to be actually decently happy. So don't really have to worry as much about it being in the Shadow Realm as I kind of thought. So let's work on just kind of growing the city. So we'll start with a Builder's Hall, just to get that extra production. And then we can start working on growing that city. And again, I eventually want to have it expand enough that I'm able to get this Heart of the Shadows and a few of these other structures, which again, I'm going to have to send some units in here to clear this out. But, you know, we'll focus on growing the city because it's going to take time, and then we can send units in here to help clear all this out. We were going to need to do this anyway to kind of fix this little situation we've got over here where this city is being currently besieged. So we want to fix that and clear that out as well. All right, so enough of my yammering about that. Let's get up here, and let's start kind of focusing on how we want to do this. So I think we'll send Crognash up this way, and the reason for that is because we do want to clear out some of these structures. We'll do No Mercy. We want to clear these out such that we then have more available for our cities, more of these resource structures cleared out for our cities. So our Shock Serpent here, we're going to throw a nice big heal on. Very, very nice there. Our Shadow Demon Lord, we can kind of charge right in. We're just going to kind of be aggressive in this battle. I do, on the one hand here, though, I do want to maybe try and grab that Frostling Apprentice if at all possible. And the reason for that, I can't remember. Let me double check. So yeah, this is a magical origin creature. And what that effectively means is that this unit has Men Magical Being. So that would be great as a healing unit to maintain my Shadow Demon stacks, including my Shadow Demon Larva. So that's why I would actually really like to get that unit with me. So we're just going to kind of eliminate these wisps as we go here. Very nice. And then we're going to send Crognash in because, again, we want to try and dominate that apprentice. However, we also do want to get in there and deal with this Phantasm Warrior. So maybe we'll just throw ourselves in defense mode. Kind of let that unit step up at us here. There we go. Crognash, we will advance kind of as much as we can without... We really don't want to get in range of the Phantasm Warrior such that it sucks up our movement. I suppose what we could do is go like this. But the only issue here is that what's going to happen, the Phantasm Warrior is going to probably attack Crognash, and that's going to use up a lot of his movement. Although, does he have Tireless? Let's double check. I can't remember if I gave that to him. He does have Tireless. That's fantastic. So we don't have to worry about that using up his movement, actually. That's just fine. We can actually step up kind of like this. And then our Shadow Demon Lord can sit like there. Alright. Okay, so they actually kind of ran off. Unfortunately, that might mean that... Yeah, the only negative about Dominate is you have to get right up on the unit to be able to use it. So we'll send Crognash in like this. We'll send the Shadow Demon Lord in to kind of assist as well. And then we can deal with the Phantasm Warriors here like this. Very nice. And, oh, you know what? I didn't think we'd be able to devour the corpses of the magical creatures like that, like the wisps and or the magical origin creatures like wisps and Phantasm Warriors, but apparently we can, and look at that. We just made a couple new friends. So we'll just tell these units to chill out. Now, we're going to take some damage here, but again, we're doing it because we really want to try and dominate this unit. Now, it would be great to try to cause fear and panic on them, but I don't want to accidentally kill them. Especially if I get critical hits. So I think we'll just try for the dominate here. 60% is still pretty decent. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and we didn't get it. Dang it. I was really hoping, and there we go, we got the critical. So I'm actually glad I didn't attack there first, because that would have potentially just killed them outright. Well, we didn't get the apprentice, but we did get some more shadow demons, which you can see are rapidly piling up here for us. Not that I'm at all complaining, of course. I'm very happy to have them, as they're just basically more foot soldiers for my army. This little orc here, might want to just bring him in to maybe guard the city, and we can send everybody else kind of up in this big shadow demon army. So we'll send the orc in to guard the city, and then we will just kind of start grouping up our shadow demons here. Ooh, had to be careful. I thought they were going to grab the haste berries there. That wouldn't have been good. So we'll use Dominus to grab the haste berries, and then we'll just have him kind of go along the road here and see what else he can find. We do have Ancient Ruins, but I think I'll leave that to Crognash to explore there. We do need to maybe add another unit into this stack. As you can see, it's a little bit underpowered at the moment. Send this stack in as well. We're going to need them. Just kind of more bodies for the fight as well. And now let's move down to Urkan here. And let's actually deal with these bandits once and for all, finally. These have been a thorn in my side for quite a while. These pesky scoundrels. They've been kind of harassing my cities. The city of Srock got captured a number of turns back thanks to these guys. So we really want to eliminate them here. We're going to charge in, be really aggressive here. And let's even see if we can eliminate that assassin, perhaps. Just seeing kind of what I can do here. So let's maybe go in like this. Let's try for a freeze, perhaps. No such luck. Relatively low odds of that actually working, but... There we go. Nice. I was hoping for a critical. That actually worked out extremely well. Send our phalanx in. Now we can just start taking them out. The assassin is dead. That was the biggest threat. Now it's just the... all the crippling hits that we're going to potentially take there, which thankfully we didn't really take too much damage. So now let's step up with our phalanx here, do some big damage. Some additional big damage with our priest there. And then we can charge in here and get the kill on them. And then our knight can just hang out. Caster, we can step up and do a little bit of damage. Very nice. Okay. So that takes care of... We've already used our heal up, so... Let's just try for a little freeze there. And we'll might as well just use our big beetle and get the kill. Fantastic. Oh, that is like a huge weight off my shoulders just in terms of the threat to these cities in the area. We can get a dwarf prospector and a little shield that's kind of not that great. I suppose the prospector could be like a scout for us, maybe. I think I'll do that. I'll take this reward. I'll immediately sell this shield off, as we really don't need it. This shield will be there soon enough that I'm not even going to keep it. And then this little guy, we can send him up here to go be a scout. So that'll be kind of his job. Let's clear out these ancient ruins. Got a couple of ogres to deal with, so this battle won't be super easy, but I think we should be able to handle it no problem. Although we do have to watch out for the hunter spider babies, who are going to probably phase in behind us and be very annoying. Sure. Send our knight up and our phalanx. We want to get that phalanx leveled up, if at all possible. There we go. Just throwing some curses. It's nice having both the casters and the priests that can throw a curse like that. Alright, so now we can just do some big damage here to these spider babies here. Fantastic. And then we can just kill them off like that. And now we've got some ogres to deal with, so we'll send our phalanx up, throw them in defense mode, and I think what we'll do as well then is we'll just do a little bit of blasting. Just soften them up just a touch. And our big beetle here perhaps could go in, although we do have Monster Slayer on our knight, so maybe our knight would be better suited to dealing with the ogre. Maybe we'll do that. There we go. Then we can send our big beetle over to deal with the boars. We're going to probably have to drop a heal on our knight, I'm thinking. Because he's going to, yeah, take a bit of a pounding, as you see there. Oh, look at that lifesteal. Just keeping him nice and healthy there. Fantastic. So we'll move Urkan up, drop a nice nourishing meal on our knight, who took a bit of damage there. Do some work there. And then we can get the finish probably with our priest. I think will be the course of action. And another level up for our priests, who are already champions at this point. They're now champion 3. Dead Man's Boots. These are actually pretty decent for the leg gear there. And then we're going to get some gold and some extra knowledge income, so I will take that. Now, I don't know if everyone has boots, so let's jump around and find out. So True Gruck does not have boots currently. So maybe we send the boots over to True Gruck. Well, let's just double check. Yeah, Haninia's boots aren't really that useful for her either. We have some fairly good boots with Crognash. And we've got boots with Dominus that are just giving him Bringer of Goodwill, so we get Volunteer. So, actually, Urkan is kind of the only one currently who has some fairly decent... Or, well, I should say Crognash and Urkan have decent boots. We'll send him to True Gruck because, again, that'll get there relatively quickly. And he's going to benefit from that. So, now the question is, do we want to head over and clear out the Sphinx Temple, or do we want to go into the water? I'm thinking we probably head over this way, go for the Sphinx Temple. That'll give us a nice research boost, most likely. And we can maybe continue to clear out what's going on over here. So I think that's what we'll do for now. We'll go that way. But we are going to use this little guy, go across the water, check out what's going on over here, and just kind of see what we can find. And we did get a level up with Urkan. He's now level 12. So he has quite a bit of casting points, which is very, very nice. We could give him Tireless, which actually would be kind of useful for him, since he does sometimes get into the fight. So maybe we'll do that. Give him Tireless. There we go. Okay. And, yeah, we finished Migration. We already established that. Okay, we have another Manticore Rider coming out. That's fantastic. So we can start building ourselves, again, a little army. We were thinking about having a force to maybe clear out some of these structures, and as well to maybe jump into the Shadow Realm. And we could actually try and go reclaim this city as well while we're at it. So that's an option there. So let's get... Alternatively, we could send this Manticore Rider over. Might be nice to actually... Although, I mean, again, Urkan's stack is already extremely powerful without that, so I think they'd be alright without it. But we are sort of building up a bit of an army there. You know what? We might want one down here to help out with this fight, so maybe we do that. Send one down over here like this. Meanwhile, this other one can go up and sit in the mountains here as well. Okay, and again, we're building up an army to clear out this dungeon, because again, that's quite important just to get that going. That's going to be in our domain very soon, and when it is, we're going to get a nice production boost. So we'll start another Phalanx going there. In our throne, we're actually working on our Manticore Riders as well. So that'll be good. And send this one up to join these guys eventually, but for now, I think we'll just have these ones chill out. There we go. Okay, now let's worry about what's going on underground here. We have True Gruck. We have a city up north that needs to be captured, And then we also have these undead that need to be dealt with, so I think that's the first thing we're going to do is go clear out these pesky undead. Looks like we've actually got some production resources over here as well as a tomb, so lots of things we can clear out here. So let's engage this battle. Remember, of course, we have Divine Justicars, so our units do have Resurgence, which is going to come in handy for this battle, I suspect. Alright, so let's go and drop a heal on our Big Beetle. He's a little worse for wear, so... And then we can send our Air Elementals up. And our Grunt as well. Like that. Alright, so... They didn't really do anything on their turn, so I think what we'll do instead is we'll actually put Touch by Faith on our Grunts, because again, they are a little bit susceptible as orcs to elemental damage due to that lower resistance. Just kind of send everybody in a little bit. Okay, so they're not going to attack just yet. There we go, we can soften them up a little bit. I fully expect them to come charging in at us and try and do some damage here. We'll throw a Bestow Iron Heart on our Big Beetle as well. Just kind of making sure everybody's nice and tough. Having Holy Champion is making this battle is gonna make this battle substantially easier, as you can see. Oh, doing extremely, extremely well there, as you can see. This Bone Collector back here needs to be dealt with. So let's see here. I think we can almost kill off the Wraith King with our Frost Elemental. Be very close. I don't really want this Bone Collector coming around and blasting our Mystics, but our Mystics are actually in pretty good shape as it is, so I think they'd be okay, even if that did happen. We could, on the other hand, charge in with True Gruck and actually virtually kill off the Bone Collector. Be very close to it. That does put True Gruck in some risk, however. Might not be worth doing. So instead we could use our Grunts here. We can throw on a War Cry. Go after this Bone Collector and almost get the kill. Meanwhile, let's try and kill off that... Ooh, not quite. However, we can probably get the finish here with this. Excellent. Alright, so that takes care of that. You know what? I think we'll be okay. Even if he does come around, our Mystic has quite a bit of health. He'll be just fine. Let's see. We can finish this one off. We're very close to it anyway. And True Gruck's actually able to be attacked as well, so maybe we... I think we'll just do this. So even if he comes around and hits my... Okay, so we went after my Big Beetle. No real worries there. And we actually can heal again, so let's heal the Big Beetle one more time since we can. And then... we can... Let's see, does anybody need extra experience? Well, our Big Beetle kind of does. Everybody else is already champion whatever, so we'll just get the finish. But in any case, that battle is dealt with. Those undead are no longer a threat, which is fantastic. And look at this, an Animator Staff. This is a epic weapon item that allows you to raise corpse. Now this might actually be really handy to have with Dominus, because Dominus has the ability to heal undead. So I'm going to take this reward. Now let me see, what does Dominus currently have for a weapon? Yeah, nothing too incredible for him. So I'm actually going to send this over to Dominus, as he's our resident kind of undead shepherd at the moment. So we're going to send this to Dominus. Again, we have to equip that as a weapon. That's the only downside to that little shovel. True Gruck here now has a level up. He's now level 13, so I suppose we could just do like Healing Aura. Units in the hero's army regenerate 6 more health or something like that. We did give him Divine Channeling 1 a while ago, so he does have a little bit more spell casting ability. Let's go back and just look at his spells one more time that we could grab. Rebirth is useless to us since we already have Divine Justicars. Smite for some damage might be okay. But I think I'm just going to grab Healing Aura just to, again, heal our units even more. Probably overkill at this point, and then maybe we'll just go with some extra casting points. It's probably overkill, but what the heck, might as well. And I think what we'll do here is we'll use this ward to do some exploring. This would be ideal if this actually loops back up around and goes up over here, because then we can go this way and still get a hold of that city. So I think maybe we will do that. We'll kind of head over here like this, and then we'll grab the production resources and then keep moving this way. All right, now let's go over to Heninia here. So again, very successfully cleared out the Sphinx Temple and acquired that Tigran support unit here, who we may actually just use as a scout, to be perfectly honest. Let's just see. Okay, so we got some undead up here that are going to need to be killed off. And there's obviously some kind of spawning structure that's responsible for producing them. So we'll come back. Let's head over here, though, and... although, you know what? It might be nice to just get Heninia over here to deal with those undead before they become an issue. It's going to still be a couple of turns till this city grows such that it can incorporate that ancient ruin. So let's actually do that. Let's get Heninia up here. Have these undead hopefully come and attack us, and then we can get rid of them. Oh, and there it is. There's the Haunted Boneyard that needs to be cleared out, so we can do that. We did finish a builder in Lyrian, so now we can start making roads, which is going to be quite useful for us. So, let's see. We can build a road. So maybe we build one going north here from Lyrian. We can connect it over here. So there's one road that we're working on. So we'll build a road up there, connect it in here, and then we'll move our builder all the way over kind of this way. And we can build, we can actually build like a bridge maybe over here or something like that. Or we could actually move in and build a bridge right there. Again, we want to get around these mountains. So perhaps we do our road up this way, build the bridge kind of right here, and then build a road that goes down this way and connects over there. I think that's going to be the plan, because again, we have to get around these mountains. If we build a bridge right here, then they still have to walk over the mountains to get up to Toldran. In any case, we can just build roads like crazy with our builder now that we've got him up and running. That's going to be helpful for us. We've already moved these little guys. Just see, was there anybody else kind of in this area that needed to move? Yeah, this Goblin Phalanx is coming in to help out. So now we can start actually sending our units over to deal with this quarry. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of do this. And then we'll actually send this... Ooh, you know what? We could do the battle with this Revenant Infantry. Or we could wait for another Phalanx. And I think we'll wait for another Phalanx just so that we don't have to worry as much in this battle. Because, again, we've got 1, 2, 3 Griffin Riders. Let's just double check here. So, yeah, the Mounted Archers are going to be useful, but I think we're going to have to rely on the Phalanx primarily to deal with those Griffin Riders. So let's just wait till this guy gets over there and can help out with the battle. We'll leave this guy here just for now. Now, our flyer, we have to decide what do we do with the flyer. Suppose I could do a little bit of scouting. I don't want to put him in any risk necessarily. Ooh, could grab the Cartographer tent, but that means that he's going to be off there by himself. Necromantic Circle here is going to need to get cleared out as well. I think we'll keep him here. I don't want him getting in too much risk there. All right, so we have a couple units over here still. We need to move. Actually, I think we've already moved them. All right, perfect. So, is there anybody left that we still have to do? I don't think so. I'm going to do my little jump around all the different units here real quick. I think we've pretty much moved everybody. Oh, that's right. I was moving this little stack in to help defend Encinia Res, but I don't think I need to do that anymore now that we've got those the Scoundrels spawning structure up there cleared out. So instead, I'm going to use this unit as a scout. I'll send him up here to start clearing stuff out. Or I guess I should say to start getting some eyes on what's going on over here. Let's just double check. I think we've pretty much moved everybody. Yeah, and this stack we're going to leave alone. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, okay, so now let's do our research choice here. And we've got enough that we could do Resurrect Hero in a single turn, which actually wouldn't be so bad. Bloodbath here. This is a combat spell. Incites troops to take down their enemies in the most brutal ways imaginable, leaving nothing but a red-stained battlefield. Bestows +5 physical strength on all friendly units. Whew, that's a pretty beastly one there. But I'm going to do Resurrect Hero because we can apply our little 48 extra knowledge here to have this one a turn sooner. So we'll do Resurrect Hero. All right, let's do our production now. So Lyrian, we can start producing units, but I think maybe instead we will just work on perhaps just making the city a little bit stronger. Let's do a storehouse so it grows a bit faster. Over to Toldran here. And we do maybe want to keep producing Manticore Riders. That's going to take most of our production, or excuse me, most of our gold. So we'll do merchandise. Over to Mboku here. Again, we're just going to do merchandise now in the rest of our cities. I do want to save up. I keep forgetting. I want to save up some gold such that I can do my new cities here and start developing them a little bit. My new Shadow Elf cities. And this one in particular, we've got, look at all the options here. We've got almost all the city upgrades already. So, you know what? We could actually sell off some of these structures. We can sell off the Archdruid's Dolmen. Get a little extra gold out of that. Yeah, we're going to tell this unit just to chill out. Alright, that's going to do it for our turn. So we'll actually flip it over here. We're almost out of time for the episode, but we'll flip this over and maybe see if we can do one more thing before we end it. And then when we start next time, we'll have kind of a fresh turn. So far, so good. I mean, I'm quite happy with my progress in this game so far. We've really got a number of very powerful units, and we've got multiple avenues to continue to generate units in addition to our ability to produce units via our cities. So I'm really quite happy, again, with the combination of our Shadow Demon Harvesters and the ability to dominate with Dominus and control undead. And now that Crognash also can dominate thanks to his item, we are in very good shape. Is that a watchtower? Oh, it is. That's going to be nice. We can go and grab that potentially with Crognash and hopefully get a little bit better vision range so we'll know kind of what's going on up here in the north. Although it is kind of right on the edge, so we're not going to get as much benefit from it, but... It would also be nice if once this unit has cleared out this dungeon, I think what I might do is just then have them kind of be a force to go and reclaim, like Lilac, for example, which used to belong to us but was taken by some undead. And then we can start kind of having a force moving up this way, and we'll sort of have kind of a scorpion sort of pincer approach, where we have an army pressing in the north and an army pressing in the south, as both kind of converge to the west. And yes, these undead are attacking Hininia's forces, which is kind of what we wanted. So we've got this Orc Phalanx here who's going to need some health. We'll do that. And this Phalanx can kind of step up. Bring our Mounted Archer back to reinforce a little bit. Alright, so again, we're probably going to get hit by some breath attacks here. I wouldn't be surprised. So I think what we'll do is we will throw a Touch of Faith. Actually, we'll throw a Bestow Iron Heart on this Phalanx here. And important because, again, this Bone Dragon does have Fearsome. And thankfully, the Bestow Iron Heart, I believe, makes the unit immune to that, as it now has Spirit Protection, and I think 100% Spirit Protection. And yes, this is a Spirit-based debuff, so... Since we now have 100% Spirit Protection, this unit should be effectively immune to the getting panicked by a fearsome creature. So we'll kind of step over here. We also want our priest getting it up and involved, because the priest is going to be able to deal some big damage to these dragons. Yeah, there's the breath attack, as we were expecting. My mounted archers really took the pounding there. Again, this unit there, this is actually a fairly difficult battle for me, just simply because of the... And there you can see that Tireless came into play. So this unit was attacked by the Bone Wyvern, and yet thanks to Tireless, it didn't use up any of its movement, such that we can now move in and still finish off this Bone Dragon relatively easily here. There we go. That's fantastic. Very, very nice. So we'll step up and we'll kill off that Lost Soul just because we can. Let's do some damage to this Bone Dragon. And then we can step in like this. And unfortunately now we've got a chance to get... You can see there the Bone Dragon is fearsome. But hopefully we can do some big damage. There we go. We resisted it, thank goodness. And now I think if we move over with Haninia, we should be able to get the finish. Yes, we can. Fantastic. Okay, now we're in really good shape. We can just clean up the last Lost Soul there, and we should be good. We might even be able to drop another heal. Yep. Was able to get our heal back, so we can do that. Just make sure, as everybody... Now this Phalanx here is gold medal as well. So now we've got 2 gold medal Phalanx, which is fantastic. These guys are silver medals, so we'll get the kill with them. Give them a little bit more experience. Excellent. And we will just quickly do this one as well to keep our city. Again, we're kind of continuing this cheese approach to keep this city in our control. So we will just run our unit back. And then I think we'll call it an episode. So again, we're really starting to pick up that momentum, moving our units to the west. As I said, I want to focus on having kind of one force in the north, and then I'm rapidly going to use my Manticore Riders and Phalanx units to build up a force in the south, and then I'll kind of, like I said, do sort of a pincer approach where I have one tendril of my army moving the one way and one on the other side, and then we'll sort of converge on what I'm assuming will be one of the opponents at the very least, kind of on the far west side of the map. So as the army in the south moves to the west and north, the other army in the north will move to the west and south, and they'll meet up and kind of allow me to just overwhelmingly siege whatever I come up against. At least that's the plan. We'll see if that ends up being how it goes. And of course, there could be elements of, you know, some of my opponents could have things underground or in the Shadow Realm, so we'll have to kind of wait and see in terms of what the situation is. All right, so there, the turn has flipped over. And again, a lot of things have happened here. We'll just quickly look at this, and then we'll end the episode. We did have a Praise the Leader festival. Those are always nice. We had a lot of units get produced, and we now have Conjunction in the House of Yaka. All fire damage is increased by +3 fire damage. All races are now neutral about volcanic and tropical. So just something to keep in mind there. If we come up against any units that are doing fire damage, we're going to be taking more from them. So, yeah, I think we'll call it an episode here. Let's just zoom out and kind of see what we're looking at. So, yeah, you can see that we've now started to move, again, like I said, to the west. And if we just kind of quickly jump to the underground, you can see we've now got a foothold with a city that we're working on. And we've done some more exploring over here. And then in the Shadow Realm, we've now got ourselves 2 cities. And again, we need to do some clearing over here to rescue this city, which has been besieged for a number of turns. But we're going to save this one. We're going to call this one episode 19. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.